Greetings, heroes and force users of all ages. Welcome back to Inside the Tauntaun, a podcast in the multiverse of fandom. I'm Alyssa Simmons, and I'm joined today by my two pals, Dino Nicandros
Hello.
and Daniel Dawson.
Hello there.
And today, we are talking the Disney Plus Star Wars series Andor Episodes 1 through 5. That's right. This show was created by Tony Gilroy, and by God, we're Star Wars fans.
I don't know who you are or where you came from.
I am Iron.
I thought they smelled bad. On the outside.
Smells like a new car in here.
Inside the Tauntaun, this is our opening song. Alyssa, Daniel, Dino, talking nerd stuff, come along. Inside the Tauntaun podcast, please like and subscribe.
We are
Andor.
Star Wars fans.
We are.
We're
We're
finally
talking about
back.
a Star Wars. We're talking about a Star Wars show. Finally.
Yes,
Is
back
this-
to our origins.
Is this the best Star Wars Disney Plus show?
It's very plausible.
I mean, it's
plausible.
very good. It's very good.
Yes, generally I liked it. If we're to talk about general things, it's a great show.
Is this the best dialogue in Star Wars?
Yes.
That
I
I
think-
absolutely, without any shadow of a doubt, will
Yeah,
say yes to
I think that we can because it's no secret that even to George Lucas himself that Star Wars has never really been written very well, but we love it. But the writing, the dialogue itself is usually fairly poopy.
And we have the entire Gilroy family to thank for that.
Yes.
So Tony Gilroy wrote the first 3, and then his brother Dan
Me,
wrote
I did it.
wrote 4 through 6.
You're welcome, everyone.
And their other brother, John, was the main editor on the show.
Wow.
So
I don't think I realized
nailing
what a
it,
family
Gilroy
event it was.
family. Yeah, it's
It's definitely a different feel for sure. Like it's
very
Yeah.
different.
Which is
very
If you enjoyed
different.
Rogue One, this is
we're getting similar vibes
for you.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
just because the same actors, but also it's just
Well, and Tony Gilroy as well.
it
Mhm.
doesn't
He was responsible for the reshoots of Rogue One.
it doesn't feel like it has it doesn't feel like it has that Disney sparkle on it.
No.
Like,
Well, certainly not. I mean, just if
and
you
I
just
mean that,
show
I mean
that
that
Ally,
honestly in a positive way. I know that
Yes.
sounds like it's a negative, but it
Yes.
actually isn't. Like it's a
yeah,
it's a
I mean,
good
just
thing.
that scene in episode 1, in the alley on Morlana 1,
Mhm.
where he kills 2 people. I was like, oh, okay,
Yikes,
all
yikes,
right,
yikes,
we're going here
Mhm.
right away.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's yeah, I like the way it's being paced. I like that I'm the only thing that I'm kind of weird about, but I guess it makes sense, and it also makes sense why they did the first 3. They pushed the first 3 out at the same time.
Same time. Yeah.
Because it's kind of like one little mini arc,
Right.
Mhm.
because it really, if you just do the first episode by itself, it just sort of ends in the middle
Yep.
of a thought almost, and it's
Mhm.
oh, all right, they're just gonna end it there. So it does. It's really I would love if somebody would just edit all of them together as one continuous film, because it probably would make. That's kind of how it feels like it was filmed. It doesn't feel like it was filmed in episodes. It feels like it was
Episodic.
a really long film that they just were like, okay, we'll just
Cut
cut
into
it here.
chunks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I had a friend at work tell me he's also a big, huge Star Wars nerd. And he's loving the show, but
really,
he was like,
really big.
he's an
7
enormous, he's
feet tall.
morbidly obese,
Mm.
8.5 feet tall.
Wow.
He was like, I'm liking it. He's like, and I liked it so much better my second watch of
Oh wow,
every
he's already watched
episode.
it twice. Dang.
Yeah, because he's like, he was like, for me, and I actually agree with this to some extent. It took me a minute to be like, okay, this is where we are.
Yeah,
I really love Rogue One. I think of the new Star Wars films, it's my fave.
definitely
Yes.
up there for sure.
But yeah, episodes 1 and 2, I was a little bit like, okay, I'm okay with the pacing, but I do need
Action.
I need to pick it up a little bit
Give
here.
me action.
And then they did.
And
So
then they did.
yeah, but I
And
think it'll be interesting to do like a rewatch and see, obviously, like everything, what you missed and so on and so forth.
Yeah, like mostly new characters, you know, a few familiar people, and a couple of lesbians.
Subtle
They're
lesbians,
hella
but
gonna die for sure.
we're gonna have a whole conversation about that in a little bit, but let's do
Great,
generals
okay.
first.
Also, like, okay, we'll do generals. We're generally, yeah, generally they're lesbians.
Right.
Yeah, really cool action scenes too. Like I one that I think it was episode 3. It's like the scene with them like having a little shootout in the factory, like with all the things falling. It like was really cool and different, like what we've like are used to. But yeah, it was cool. Yeah, very very cool.
Okay, it was cool. That's Daniel's general.
Uh-huh.
Dino, your general.
All right, my general feeling on this show. This is my favorite Disney Plus Star Wars offering.
Well, let's talk about we've gotten
Even more than Mando, you think?
yeah, we got Mando.
For you?
Yes.
All right.
Wow.
For me.
In
For
terms
me.
of just overall everything.
Tone, zero reliance or very little reliance on cameos.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It was not shot in the volume. It was shot on location, and you can
Which
tell.
is obvious. It's so nice.
doesn't-
I mean, the volume's awesome, but it's
Yes.
so nice to be on location.
You can
Yes.
tell this galaxy
Yeah.
feels huge,
It
and
does.
the landscapes feel huge.
I think that's the thing with the volume. It's always like, oh wow, I can't believe that was filmed on a volume because it looks so good. But
Yeah.
like that doesn't.
It's
it still
just the
doesn't.
it's yeah. You
It doesn't
can't
hold a candle to like the real thing. It really
Nope.
doesn't.
Nothing
Else.
tops the real thing, and and it's nice to see Star Wars get back out there.
It's
and-
definitely better than a green screen.
Yeah.
Like-
yes.
yeah. Of
1,000
course.
times better than a green screen.
course.
No, this isn't crapping on the volume. This is just
It's nice to be on location.
Yeah. The money
I'm
was
Much
well
in the-
spent.
places.
The money was
much
well
in the
spent.
much in the way Star Wars used to be, and
Yeah. At least to some
Uh,
degree.
well, yeah. There's always going to be green. I mean, there's a hefty amount of green screen in the show.
Yeah.
But I love how big the galaxy feels. I love how unfamiliar the characters feel, but in a familiar setting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I love, and this is something Tony Gilroy said he wanted to really explore, was the germination of rebellion and how
Yeah.
it starts at a grassroots level.
Mm-hmm.
And
Truly grass. Truly
Truly
grass in
grass.
this version.
Yeah, actual grass. And also the Empire being as like, you know, just so flighty about all the things. They're just like,
Mhm.
you know, it's whatever. And like you can just see all the cracks. You know.
yes,
and
yeah, that's a big pull for me in seeing
their complacency.
a complacency, a bureaucracy, and
Yes.
and how complicated it is to get things done
Red tape and all that shit. Yeah.
efficiently. I
Mhm.
love that we're kind of seeing an Imperial hierarchy that makes a little more sense now, and that we've barely seen any stormtroopers.
Mm-mm.
Right.
And the reason for that, and this is canonically, but I think Solo was the only other time to really do it, is that the foot soldiers of the Empire are not the stormtroopers. The stormtroopers are the elite force that they bring in when things get
real
dicey.
real bad.
which is hilarious because none of them know how
Right.
to shoot.
They're bad.
Right. And we've talked we talked during a Bad Batch about the reason stormtroopers are so
Not good.
potentially why they are so inefficient compared to their clone counterparts, and
Because they were trained poorly.
yeah, they're mass produced. They're
And so
given
in some
cheaper.
cases were purposefully trained poorly. Yeah.
So yeah, no, I love that. And as I alluded to at the beginning, I think this is some of the sharpest and most compelling writing
Mm-hmm.
in Star Wars. Period. Certainly of the shows, certainly of the Disney era, but
Sure.
perhaps ever.
Yeah, it's like there's no yeah, it's like it's a little far removed from the fantasy that is Star Wars, and it brings it like it's just a much more like earthy feeling. There's
the galaxy.
There's no like character with a profound destiny or anything like that.
Right.
It's just like this is. I mean, I guess he does have a destiny since we know where he is heading after this.
Yeah.
But it's not like a like this was foretold, and you were always supposed to be a Jedi, and like your father before you. It's nothing like that. It's just like he is a guy who's getting swept up into the because of his circumstances, getting swept up into the cause.
Yeah, and it's the galaxy without the Force and without the Jedi and without the Skywalkers and without and none of that is. Those are all good things.
They're all great things.
But we've
things
done
we
all
do
that.
love about
and,
Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to make this about any other shows, but I think where Mando season 2 in the Book of Boba Fett, it's really the book. It was the Book of Boba Fett. Mando season 2 was great. Where Book of Boba Fett didn't lose me, but where I just kind of started scratching my head was the detours to Luke and to Ahsoka and that the galaxy just starts to feel small, and that everybody knows each other,
right.
And there are trillions of people that live in this galaxy, literal trillions. And I think it's much more interesting to pick a corner. And yes, we know Andor already, but to pick a corner and just kind of look through a keyhole at one corner of the galaxy and see how they are
handling things and what day-to-day life under the Empire looks like, where atrocities are happening, but you don't see them in plain sight. Right.
So there's like this kind of talked about quality. It's just it's this ominous presence that's kind of floating in the background, but you're not seeing it at all times, and that is almost more scary.
Yeah, potentially.
Those are my general thoughts.
That's pretty general.
Yeah, nice and general.
Oh, generally.
Also, my generals, on top of what you two both have said, I'm really loving the costume design of the show. I think it's it feels Star Wars, but it also feels new. All the kind of gold, and there's like a lot of like gold and like mustard and like greens, which you don't necessarily see in a lot of Star Wars costuming. Really like that. Really like the look of the Canary and like their everything about them. That's really interesting. And
well, even with the you can see you could see hints of like where well, I mean, I know that these these costumes are actually inspired on the originals, but it makes it look like the originals were inspired by these, because this technically came before.
Yeah,
you can see like the people that are on the what's the planet that they're on at first, where
Ferrix,
yeah, like
or the industrial planet. Which one do you mean?
Oh, I think it's Ferrix. It's the one where
Ferrix is the one where Andor's like mom is, and where that whole bit of action takes place.
And all the ding ding ding, all that stuff.
That's Ferrix.
So
Fiona Shaw, man.
What's that?
Fiona Shaw, man.
Oh, so good, so freaking great,
so good.
Yeah. She's the old lady, right?
Yeah.
His mom, Marva.
Yeah, she kind of like reminds me of like a oh gosh, what's her name? I'm ready for my close up, Miss Jamil.
Glenn Close.
Yeah, Glenn Close-ish. Glenn Close adjacent, like they could be related. No,
Yep.
but the costumes that are in the in like Ferrex, like the people in those like the puffy jackets and stuff, they're very reminiscent of like the Rebel Alliance like uniforms that they wear in the X-wings and stuff. There's like hints here and there.
Yeah, I loved the detail of the whole entire wall, the workers' wall, like
Oh,
hanging up
yeah.
their like
Mhm.
gloves and jackets and stuff. At the end of the day, something about that was just like so yummy to
Yeah,
me.
it's cool.
I was like,
because they
oh
could have easily just taken those home, but like it's just a fun
no,
detail.
just like a great look. Yeah, the acting is all great. I'm loving the dialogue, and yeah, those are I suppose my generals.
very general.
Okay, so let's see. Since we're dealing with 5 episodes, I'll ask you this.
Episodes.
Character-wise, and
Uh-huh.
and you can say Cassian, but character-wise, who are you finding the most compelling in our kind of lead-off 5 episodes here?
You know, the most compelling. I mean, Cassian's doing a great job, but honestly, the one that I'm I think the most interested in, because I think that he's gonna have he could potentially have a really great arc, and the cool thing is that I don't know where it's going, because it could be just like a complete like downward spiral to like a really super dark place, or it might be a redemption arc, or it could be both. I don't know, but it's the young upstart Imperial.
Oh,
dude-
Cyril.
Cyril, thank you. Yeah, I always equate because I can't get out of my head the character from you guys. Wait, did you both haven't watched Twin Peaks, right?
Mm-mm.
Ah, shucks. You guys need to watch that show. It's really great, and really weird. But he reminds me of the lead guy in that. It's like damn good coffee. He's also the lead of the original Dune movie.
Oh,
What the heck is his name?
Yes, him.
Scream it out. Scream it out.
Yeah.
Peeps.
Oh, we can hear you. We can hear you. But he reminds me of a young him.
What is his name? It's gonna drive me nuts.
I know. Me too. I love him too. I really do. I like that actor.
Come on.
But yeah, I don't know if you guys agree with me or not, but I'm interested to see where they take his character. And he's randomly like a mama's boy, and he's like, his mom.
Yeah,
is like,
that's it's interesting. That actually, I'm confused by the mom and the Intuit, and there's a lot of really confusing things there about that family. I'm intrigued by it, but it does feel
huh?
and his mom is Catherine Hunter,
Which
who,
is she's an icon.
Yeah.
Theater icon.
Yeah.
And then you've known her as Mrs. Fig in Harry Potter, and
Yes.
she was just in The Tragedy of Macbeth. She played the witches.
Yeah, she's incredible
It's
actor.
that voice is so.
Yeah, that smoker voice.
Yeah.
Twin Peaks and Dune is Kyle MacLachlan.
There it is, Kyle MacLachlan.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm interested by Cyril. I hope really, really double fingers crossed that I'm sure we will
no doubt.
learn more about him, but
yes.
I think I texted this to both of you and I was like, oh, please don't let the first like kind of gay Star Wars character be this villain guy.
Do we think he's gay? Honestly, I didn't get those vibes.
I mean, he altered his uniform.
I
don't know.
It's possible.
Here's my
very
thing.
plausible.
Here's my thing. This set me down. I'm just gonna do it now.
Do it.
This set me down a really big rabbit hole of just sort of queer baiting and queer coding on television shows and movies.
Sure.
And him and the two girls share a blanket line to me
Yes.
are both kind of teeter-tottering between queer coding and queer queer baiting.
Well,
And that
sure.
is half exciting to me and half worrisome to me.
Like, as opposed to just like being like these guys are they are gay lovers, and like what would be the
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing.
how would we fix that? I wonder.
Well, first let me just tell you the difference between what queer coding and queer baiting are.
Yeah.
Because they are similar but different. So queer coding is when characters may not be explicitly stated to be queer, but there's enough subtext available for the audience to read them as queer.
That feels like what's happening.
Okay, coding is not necessarily like negative or positive.
Sure.
Queer baiting is more harmful. It's sort of like what they did with The Rise of Skywalker, where they were like, there's queer representation in this movie.
Right. And
As a way to draw audiences in.
Right.
And then it's not even there, or if it is there, it's harmful.
You missed it. Oh, it was there. You missed it.
Oh, you blinked.
I'm
yeah,
so
I mean, like that
sorry.
moment, which we've, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but
Yeah.
they
The
didn't
horse
even
is
edit
dead,
it. They didn't
Alyssa.
even edit that out of the China version. That's how under the radar that one was. Okay.
Yeah.
So I
God.
think kind of what's going on here is more in the coding realm.
Yeah, I would say so.
This Cyril character is
Because it definitely wasn't in the advertisements. They were like, "Hey, queers,
no,
we got some gays for you in this show."
And to be honest, it would be weird if all of a sudden there was just like some like romance story.
Hi,
in
gay.
this- in
Happy
this
Proud
story.
Month.
But my worry about the girls
Yes.
is that now one of them is obviously going to die.
Right. Or
And
both of them.
or both. So
Yeah.
what you've done now, Star Wars, is you've given
Because if we're
the
gonna be in the,
queers, you've given the queers this little nugget of
little
hope that there
morsel.
might be some openly queer characters in the Star Wars universe, and now you've killed them. So that's also problematic because it feels like baiting. It feels like, here's this thing,
that you
JK.
You're never gonna have it again because it's dead.
So I might eat my words.
But I mean, I don't know if it's baiting necessarily. If it like, because the key is to make you. It's like if we're gonna be comparing it to Rogue One, is you want to care for these characters,
Of course,
and then eventually when they do die, you're like, no,
sure,
and and
yeah,
regardless
that's
if they're gay or not, it's like
I literally like held my breath when he was like, 'cause
I understand.
It's obvious to me that they are together.
And we wouldn't be triggered if we didn't have all this history behind us. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, because
Sure.
if this was just a random show that happened to have these two characters that were gay, we wouldn't think twice
Yeah,
about it. But
I
because
think
it's
my,
so special, it's
yeah,
like
and because in live action in particular, they've not done it
just haven't done
at
it, right.
all.
Mm-hmm.
In the comics and
as of now, they barely have done it. Like even in Andor, it's still like, oh, they share a blanket. And really, honestly, if you weren't really thinking about it, you might miss it. Truly,
Right.
it's not.
It's really the reason it was said is because one of the other rebellion guys kind of caught Andor being like, oh, she's
kind of cute.
she's super cute. Like,
She also likes to muff dog.
anyways, those are my feelings on the matter. That
Yeah,
being said,
I totally
maybe they'll
understand that.
totally, prove me wrong in this.
Well, it's all in the eyes of the beholder, because you might, because like so far I haven't felt that way, because I understand that they are at least as far as like writing goes, they're like they want to tug at your heartstrings because they want you to feel
Sure.
bad when they're not around anymore.
Absolutely.
And
I totally get that. It's just
like
it's just that thing
I know
that we talk about all the time,
Yes.
managing our expectations.
Yes,
And
right.
it's like, it is the fact that one line and a few glances and another line have like, in me personally been like, oh, maybe this will happen.
We are
this
triggering
time.
Right.
lots of things. In
So I just need to like sit back, know that like either one or both of them probably will die. in
Right.
this scary mission they're about to go on. But
And it also is probably triggering because she has your same haircut.
what? The blonde girl?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know. Every time I see her, I was just like, oh, Alyssa's had that haircut before. She's
Like the shaved on the side?
is it shaved? No, it's not shaved, is it?
If it's not shaved, she wears it in like tight,
Like a really
like,
tight.
braids on the sides.
I think maybe, but yeah, I same kind of hair coloring ish.
Sure.
She reminds me.
Anyways,
of
we don't need to spend any more time on this. There's
you.
many,
Nope, that's
many
what the
things
show
to
is
talk
about. It's about lesbians.
But that's what I have to say on that. And please, fingers crossed, Andor doesn't mess it up. all.
We'll see. Answering the question though, which character do you find most compelling?
Well, I guess it's that.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I think honestly, all of the rebellion people
Okay. Yeah.
seeing that in like the grassroots
Like
level and
them
like
as a team.
mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah, that's I love that.
There's some
so
great
far.
actors in there too. Like I remember like first meeting them and thinking like I don't know why I do this fairly often, but I like cross my arms like going like, oh, here's the smart guy, here's the this, you know, and you know like but they very quickly like slap me in the face. We're like, no, you sit down and you enjoy this because like they're all
And the writing is just so good,
Writing is
and
great,
the
and they're-
acting is so good.
exactly
So
stole the words right
yeah.
from my mouth. Yeah.
Well, and I love that. So this younger actor, Alex Lothar, he plays.
Yeah. Where's he from? Has
he
done
plays
stuff?
Nemec. He was in
I haven't done my research in that regard.
The Imitation Game. He played He played a young Alan Turing.
yes, Alan Turing.
Why
yes.
I remember his face.
And he's got a long little resume.
Long little.
A long little.
Long and little.
He has a long
Not
resume.
the words you want to
and-
hear, probably, but
No. But him being the kind of the
I guess better
intellectual
that
of the
than
group.
short and thick. But
All right, we've moved on, Daniel. We've moved on. I love that the contrast between him being the intellectual and he has this manifesto on
yes,
on what constitutes rebellion and which is not something we've ever really seen in Star Wars before. I don't think we've
but it's
really
exactly what a terrorist would do.
It's exactly what a terrorist would do. And then kind of juxtaposing him with Arvel and
yeah,
who's kind of the more no bullshit
Gruff
member
and
of the
tough,
group,
yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can tell Vel is like a very natural leader,
Mm-hmm.
and but she struggles with. No, she doesn't really. I wouldn't say she is very rightfully so. She's very distrusting of any veering from the plan that was agreed on, and that is
Yeah.
evidenced by Luthen bringing
Which-
Cassian on board in the first place.
Love
So
his
she,
character.
yes,
Yeah,
Oh
and
yeah.
there's
What
so
an
much-
what an interesting, cool
I mean, really,
character. So
I think
cool.
he's probably. I mean, he's definitely fighting for first place for me too, because there's so much that we don't know about him yet. It's just like a lot. He's got fucking lace front wigs. I want to know everything about this man.
I know the
Very,
first
very
time he
interesting.
gets into his wig and like cloak and
yes, I really
like
initially
physically,
thought he
I was
gonna
like,
be in drag.
oh, this is great.
Yeah, yeah,
Who's this guy?
yeah. Very.
and it's
So
already
cool.
become a well-known gif.
Has it? Oh, I've
of-
missed it.
Of
yes,
him getting dressed.
of him getting into character, you know, and how nervous he is by how nervous he is normally and paranoid, and then he kind of just effortlessly slips into this gregarious, art collector, and
Yeah.
Speaking of
Super
a character that's a total standout for me, and I was obsessed with this, and I just kept rewatching it. The guy who rings the bells in Ferrix.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
he's got a whole
I-
backstory. I mean, like you can. We haven't. He said so much without saying anything at all.
He Academy Award winner.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, he does.
Incredible.
You know that guy does that.
He
every
made
morning.
a meal out of that snack. They were
He
like, "You're gonna ring
did.
the bells," and he was like,
All right.
"Okay."
Here I go.
Quasimodo, who? Here we go.
Right.
I just imagine those
good.
auditions were grueling for that
Just
character.
they
you
find
know?
they found people at like CrossFit gyms and stuff, like Ironman competitions.
Yeah.
I think my most compelling character, well, it's going to be a combination of two women.
Okay.
First being Genevieve O'Reilly as Mon Mothma.
Yeah, she's fucking
So great.
awesome.
I did not know I needed a Mon Mothma family drama.
Yeah. Say that 5 times fast.
I did not know we
Mothma
needed a
family
Mon Mothma family drama. Here we are, and
Man, her husband is such a dick.
Such a dick.
and her daughter's resentful of her, and
Ah.
I
And their
love
house,
seeing
their house looks like the inside of a Mormon temple.
I remember you saying that.
Right.
That's
Sex
so
of the
funny
Boys,
to
that.
me.
Truly,
I
it's all
love-
white and gold.
Just
I love that
great.
we're seeing the leader of rebellion and the personal cost that
Mm.
comes with
Yeah.
her illicit activities.
She's gonna lose her family basically. Although I mean, it seems like she already did, but
And that it's not necessarily her life. I mean, her life is absolutely at stake, and she makes that known to Luthen that I would be the first one to go.
Yeah.
right.
But I
She would
love
be made an
seeing the
example
more
of, for sure.
I love seeing the more intimate costs of what she's chosen to do, and it gives us such important backstory to that steely-eyed, resourceful Mon Mothma we meet in Return of the Jedi.
Right.
Who I don't know. We'll see what has happened between now and then. I think the show will give us an indication of what happens between now and then as far as she goes personally. But how great to focus on a character like her. And Genevieve O'Reilly is spectacular.
Yeah, I could listen to her just read
Yes.
the phone
She's got
book.
a gorgeous
Truly.
voice.
It's
yeah.
And her
incredible.
scene with Luthen in the art gallery or his little museum is
Yeah, when he takes her to the back to
yes.
yes.
show her
And as the
something,
camera
yeah.
pans, they're they're
Mhm.
smiling, having their fake conversation. As it pans behind her, he immediately drops character.
Mhm.
So great.
Seamless. I was like, oh my god, this is what we signed up for.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then my other favorite thus far is Denise Go, who plays Deidre Miro, who's the Imperial intelligence officer.
Yeah, she's great.
Oh yeah. Very good.
Who they're setting up to be a villain, but not. I don't know what the best. It's not anti-hero at all.
Yeah,
and
but
it's
she's
not,
just she's so smart. And in episode 5, she has that line about, well, if it were me, if I were setting up a rebellion, that's
Mhm.
how I would
Yes.
do it. And all of these
Yeah, which is cool.
these little cracks in all of the different parts of the Foundation.
She kind of does, honestly, to me so far, feel kind of like the glue that's like piecing together all of these different, like for instance, like Rogue One, this show, even the Solo show. Like their Solo. Probably should have been a show, but the movie, like yeah, she's like she's piecing all those together, which is cool. I think it's
Yep.
yeah, should be like the connective tissue.
Well, and as you said, Alyssa, she's super smart, and you almost root for her because she is so good at her job, and you've already seen her being put on the back foot because of
Mhm.
Imperial bureaucracy. You know,
Yep.
And because she's a lesbian.
Major Partagaz, who I love that actor. His name's Anton Lesser. He was in Game of Thrones, and
Oh wait, what was she in Game of Thrones?
the actor
the-
Anton Lesser. He played
Oh!
Partagaz, the
The one who was like
one of the
telling-
heads of the intelligence
in the
bureau.
meeting,
Right.
and
He
then he's
played,
got a scene with her too. Yeah.
Daniel, if you'll remember, he played Grandmeister Pycelle.
Yes. Yep. In the robes, yes.
Or no, not Pycelle. Who's the other one?
I don't know. I'm very bad with names as it's
Maybe it was
Cannot
Pycelle.
help you here.
Anyway,
very clear.
but she gets knocked down a peg
She gets knocked
because
out.
because she is hot on the trail and you see Imperial bureaucracy step in and say, no, this is protocol for this sector. This is your department.
Oh my god, the fucking head
Don't step
of
out of line.
their department, like what a dick. His like everybody's like
Party
worst nightmare
Yeah.
of a boss, like just does not even take a breath like in cutting everyone down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the major Partigats. He's
Just terrible.
yeah, so yeah, as we talked about, you can see the cracks in the empire already, and
Yeah.
on how it's no accident that a rebellion is able to fester because these guys are incompetent.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
and
the
it
setup
makes
of
just
that
they're not
the
getting
setup
paid
of that
enough.
line at the end of episode 5 on Ferrix with a new Imperial officer who we were just meeting. And he's like, well, can I have another title? I know it doesn't come with more pay, but
Yeah,
can I have
right.
another
right, yeah,
I
can I
have
be the
another title?
prefect?
There's
And they're like,
He's
and
like-
he's like, yeah, fine, whatever.
Put on your ball gown. Yeah, put on your ball gown. Just get this place ready for.
I think a common denominator too in the like Empire, and even the Sith too is oh god, what's the word I was looking for? Just lost it. Ambition.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
people
Yeah.
being like letting their ambitions get the best of
Yeah,
them.
Krennic. I mean, it
Mhm.
was
Krennic, totally Krennic.
Director
yes.
Krennic, and Vader says, "Don't choke on your aspirations."
Yeah.
And that whole half that movie is about him getting sidelined by Tarkin and trying
Right.
to trying to win favor with higher ups, and that's all the Empire is. It's a bunch
Ladder
of ladder climbers.
Yeah, a whole empire of ladder climbers. Yes.
So it's really interesting to have a character like Deidre Miro, who is, I won't say sympathetic just yet, but that they framed her as kind of an afterthought, and it paints it in a very stark picture that if there were more Deidre Miros running Imperial intelligence, there's probably not a rebellion.
Yeah, potentially. Right.
Also, I really want her uniform.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, it's dope.
The
This
ISB
whole
off
show
the
gave me like
white ones,
so
yeah.
many ideas. I'm like, oh,
Very
next
clean
celebration.
looking. Oh, wasn't
Gotta-
it so exciting to go back to Coruscant? By the way, I really
Oh, yeah.
was happy about that, and it looks
Mhm.
cool as
And
hell.
it looks so good, and the
looks
sound design
good.
takes you right back to the prequels. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
the little
sound
speeders
huge,
running around.
huge hats off to the sound. The TIE fighter, you know,
oh my God!
whooshing through and rippling against the water. That water
Yeah.
shot.
What and
It's scary sounding.
they
I have the
captured kind
surround
of the
sound in my,
dynamics.
like room, and I'm like,
Yeah.
wow.
They captured the dynamic kind of like a fighter jet. So it had
Mhm.
the TIE fight, the classic TIE fighter sound, and then it reverberating off
dinosaurs.
the
Yes.
ground, and then yeah, it made the TIE fighter scary. Like TIE
Yeah.
fighters are scary now,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
it's all about putting things in scale. And I think I would say in the original trilogy we took TIE fighters for granted because there's so many of them, and they're kind of cannon fodder. And
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
but put it in this context, terrifying.
Oh, this is really, really random, but I just like because I know you follow SamWhitworth on Twitter, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Did you happen to see his tweet that happened like right after I think it was episode 4 when it came out. I could be wrong, but he tweeted like a very coy like, "See, I told you I was in the show" kind of thing. And in so many words. But I was like, huh? I don't understand it. But it's because I never played the video game. Did you play Force Unleashed?
I did.
You did. Okay, so
Oh yes. I know what
yeah,
you're talking about. Yeah.
there's a wonderful little
So
Easter
who is
egg.
he?
In you know his giant collection of things.
In
and-
Luthen's collection.
Yes.
Oh,
There's-
okay.
There is a set of armor that's sitting like in the background.
That Sam Witwerth's character wore
I
in the
see.
video game.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
The Star
So-
Killer uniform.
So he, there people are like, he's officially canon. Oh shit,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny. Like in this show in particular, they have made like numerous video game references, which is interesting. Specifically, oh my gosh, yes. The the kyber crystal, the special like
Oh, the
Mm-hmm.
that he was like, oh yeah, he's like, you can sell this for 50,000 records or whatever. That man, wow, what a deep dive, because I also hadn't played that video game, which you know, bad Star Wars fan, but I just didn't have the system at the time. Okay, but it's a direct reference to characters that were created for the Knights of the Old Republic game.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I want that. Also, I want that kyber crystal.
Oh,
on
it's so
necklace.
pretty.
It's so
And
pretty.
you know that they're obviously
Oh,
gonna sell
nerds
that.
have already made it. It's on Etsy. I'll buy one.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Great.
Yeah, I'll buy one.
Fantastic.
Definitely don't buy it at Disney because it'll be way too expensive.
No, I'll buy it from like an actual maker who used like a real crystal.
Yeah.
That looks like that. You
Not
know,
plastic and poopy.
because I have a Rogue One. I have Jyn Erso's
Oh, you do?
kyber crystal
cool.
necklace,
How
and it's
fun.
yeah, it's just I forget it's quartz.
Quartz.
It's quartz crystal.
I took notes about this this exact thing, and I wanted to get them out because I totally wasn't prepared. But yes, these characters, they're talking about the rebellion of the. It was like to celebrate the rebellion of the. Hang on a second here. I got it. Okay. Oh no! That's not it. It's not in there. Damn it! I don't know, but
Maybe it'll come back to you.
hopefully. But yeah, they're talking about a rebellion that was of this particular race of people that which, oh my god, I went on such a deep dive. I was like, how do I not know about this? Because it's like thousands and thousands of years in the past in this galaxy far, far away. But it was like a race of people that like they use the dark side of the Force for to like power a lot of their machines, and they're basically going from like world to world, absorbing all the resources and enslaving all of the people, and in essence they kind of like needled the thread that these beings sort of set in motion, like kind of the way we see the universe as it is now, or sorry, the galaxy as it is now. For instance, like they say that on the world of the Wookiees, Kashyyyk, yes, that they were like terraforming that planet, and they put some like AI there that like helped terraform, and like it kind of like they like left it alone, and it went out of control and basically like went overdrive and caused it to like all the trees to be giant, and so it's like they had a direct hand at like forming like planets as we see them today. So there's just so much intrigue there. I was like, oh man, I wanna know more about that shit. Sounds cool. But anyway, so that was just a little. I love that they just like that one little connective tissue there.
Yep.
Yeah, there was that, and then there was the Force Unleashed game. It was like they're just like little by little making like little boops and bips canon again, which I think is so fun.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm actually adding a third character to my most compelling group.
You're not allowed.
Well, I'm doing it. So, Lieutenant Gorn, played by Sul Rimi. He's the double agent.
Yeah,
Oh.
cool character.
Yes.
And I pick him because there's again, this is episode 5, where he's on top of the installation with the other Imperial officer, and they're just having kind of a conversation about the view.
Yeah.
And then they start talking about moving the indigenous people out of that sector, and that they're building this big air base, and the officer makes some offhand comment. It's like, could you imagine if there were thousands of them here?
Mhm.
And he's like, yes,
Yeah,
I can.
I can.
And you can see him just kind of trying his best to stay in character, and how taxing being that good at being a double agent is, in that Lord knows what he's going to be asked to do,
Yeah.
at some point,
It's gonna be
and
pretty
he
dark,
might have to
probably.
do it.
Yeah, just to save face.
Um,
They're gonna have blood
So-
on their hands.
yeah, just put that in the list of people taking significant risk and being subject to significant cost, and a big fan of that character.
Yeah.
I'm just looking up the name of that. It's like I'm not gonna let it go. I need to find it.
Yeah. Yeah, lots of really interesting things going on. I love the few scenes with because they're all having a hard time trusting Andor, all the small little rebellion group. And rightfully so. And I loved I loved the scene where they like brought him in and they were like, "Well, how would you tell if it was what the temperature is?" And he's like kind of backpedaling in his mind. He's like, "Wait, do you not know how to fly this thing? Do you not even know if it's on the tracks? Do you not?" And
It's like, wow, you guys are like really.
yeah,
behind.
I love this idea that like, obviously they're this like, kind of ragtag group of
Hagtag.
hagtags. Ragtag group of people that are just like, they're very invested in the cause, but a lot of them don't have the practical skills and knowledge that Andor has,
Right.
which makes it a very fascinating character relationship because they
Totally.
do need him.
And I think that was like him finally realizing he's like, oh wow, you guys really, really did need me.
They need him, but he's also going to have to rely on them to,
He's nervous because I think
help
he was
him out of it.
He was
Yeah,
thinking
it's
that he
like-
was just gonna be along for the ride, and he's like
Yeah.
now like gonna have to like really pick up where they.
Yeah, and I
left off.
love the line that he says like, well, it's not it's hard to work with people. It's hard to work on a team.
Yeah.
So it's
New
just a
for him.
fascinating dynamic there.
By the way,
Yep.
it's the Rakatan
Mm.
people. They're so he
Or-
says it's, this kyber crystal was celebrating the uprising against the Rakatan invaders, and it was like, what a wonderful nugget of information. It was like, and what are the Rakatan? I've never even heard of that word, so I went down a deep Wikipedia dive.
Deep cheese dive.
Deepy cheese dive. My God, it's very interesting stuff. If you ever want to go read about it, interesting.
Mhm.
Very. I mean, eventually I want to play the game. I was waiting for them to do the remake.
They pushed it back, right?
Yeah,
I think it's
allegedly.
been postponed to like 2024 or something.
Oh, I want to play it now. Anyways, I digress.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying. We've said this to some extent on the show before. It's like, it's so lovely to see something that still feels like Star Wars, but it's
Yeah.
so new and interesting.
But also a little Indiana Jones.
Sure.
No, only because there's just like random. I also like
His
that's the
whip
wonderful
was
thing
in
about
the-
like a room full of collections and stuff. Like they can
Oh,
just
yeah,
like put
yeah.
whatever like in there like as little fun things. But there's actual Indiana Jones like shit in there.
I would say what
Oh,
I'm most,
really?
Yeah,
Truly?
there is. Yeah,
his whip is in there.
Oh my gosh. I didn't see it.
I would say what I'm actually most excited about going forward on this show.
Oh, and the
is,
stones from the Temple of Doom, those are in there
Yes,
too. Yeah.
yes. I would say what I'm most
Dino.
excited about going forward on this show is actually watching the dynamic within the rebellion, which is played upon a bit in Rogue One, but once they introduce Saul Guerrera into the mix, who is
Yeah.
And
no,
he's
a known
coming.
he's an extremist,
He
a
is
known
gonna be in the
extremist.
show, right?
Yes,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and I'm going to love to see how the fracturing kind of happens, where Mon Mothma and Saul Guerrera,
He's like, whoa, we're not that dark.
like,
That-
we're not that.
Yeah. Holy moly.
But then seeing what drives Saw to that, and
Mhm.
uh,
Yeah, like has he always been that way, or was there something that kind of like,
Right.
He's like, no, we need to do more. Yeah.
yeah, no, I love seeing those kind of dynamics within a rebellion that we think is just and good, and which it mostly is, but how not everything is all good and not everything is all bad,
Yes.
and that's
We love.
we've always
the
talked about. That's
gray.
where Star Wars does its best work. and we've already seen a fair bit of it. I mean,
And
Yeah.
there are 12 episodes this season.
That sounds right.
I believe so.
I remember
yes.
them being
Okay.
more than I thought there was going to be. And I was like, oh, that's good.
Yeah, I
like
think
that.
they're. Oh, I have it. I have it up. I should. Let me look. There will be 12. Yes, there will be 12.
There will be
And I
blood.
believe there's a
Finale. The
season two.
finale will be released on November 23rd. So we're still a little while away.
Um,
Do you think?
yeah, and then there will be a season 2 as well.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
That's already being produced, or am I crazy?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
believe so.
Yeah. Did they say they were? Because we're basically. What year are we in? Are we like? Is it 5 years before the event?
This is right before Rogue One. So this is, or rather, the show is going to take place. I forget how many years.
Yeah, right. Because I remember them saying it was like,
I think
It's going to end.
It's
going to
5
end at
years.
Rogue One. So yes, I think you are correct. I'm remembering
5,
it's going to end at Rogue One.
Yeah, like they're wanting to almost end like moments before it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is gonna be
I'm
so
seeing
cool.
I'm seeing a chart here of the. It's like a little flow chart of
Oh, like a timeline.
not timeline, but just the reception by episode,
Oh, interesting. Okay.
which is like an interesting thing to look at.
Hmm.
What do you mean by that?
So
Like,
from episode to episode, like what the amount of like positive reviewers,
oh,
Mhm.
okay.
like what they had to say based on Rotten Tomatoes, tracked by
Gotcha.
Rotten Tomatoes. And the first episode was at like a 93.
Wow.
Second
Out of
episode,
4,000.
sure. Episode 2 went down to like an 86.
Still very decent.
3 went back up to 93.
Mm.
4 went down again
That
to
makes sense.
87. And then episode 5 was at 99%.
Dang.
Wow.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So-
Episode 5.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, went to another
Yeah,
level.
so it's a review aggregator
That's cool. I
based
didn't know
on
that
based on
existed.
420 critic reviews. So it's just kind of interesting. It's a weighted average, obviously.
Very, very cool. And this is these aren't user reviews. These are critic reviews.
Yeah, these are critic reviews.
Cool. Everyone's a
Um,
critic. We're technically critics.
Sure.
well, and I love that
Sure.
in terms of like action, other than that first arc, there hasn't been like a bunch of explosive.
Mm-mm.
And we know it's coming, but I
Yeah.
so appreciate that a Star Wars show is actually sustaining itself on dialogue.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's an incredible thing to see happening.
Yeah.
And then you're going to earn all of the big set pieces that are coming. And I have no complaints other than what the issue you alluded to, Alyssa, that could potentially be an issue.
Yeah, but I'm still remaining hopeful.
Fine. I mean, and yeah, I'm right there with you. And I've just been enjoying it. I'm just
I don't really have
I'm
any
having a blast.
complaints, honestly. I know it's not really a complaint. It's just like it's an interesting. I think if it was one complete like film without breaks, like the endings of the episodes, like the endings of the episodes are not like making 100% sense to me. Like, why did they end it there? I don't understand. But like, that would be like my only critique if there is one. But
Yeah.
I know that, like, for instance, like episode 5 just felt like it ended. But it's like it's part of the greater arc. I think that we'll probably see more of a conclusion of this particular arc, and maybe they're a series of trilogies. Because like the first 3 was like a small arc, and then 4, 5, and 6 will be another little arc, and then because it is 12 episodes, so
Yeah.
got
Another
4
thing,
arcs.
the music is cool. It also
Yeah.
feels very different from anything
It does.
we've
It's
heard.
atmospheric.
It's
Mhm.
Nicholas Britell, who
Succession.
Succession, he won for his score of Succession, and he's also done quite a bit of film work as well.
Yeah.
Moonlight, and most recently Don't Look Up. the Netflix
Mhm.
Oh, okay, yeah.
movie.
Oh my god, that movie still gives me existential
Mhm.
dread. Just
Mhm. Yeah, it's cool. It's atmospheric, and then there's like a lot of like guitar and
yeah.
drums happening, which is not what we're used to hearing
No,
for Star Wars.
really.
So yeah, it's interesting for
We
sure.
went to a Star Wars brothel, which I thought was very interesting.
Yes.
Did.
A brothel.
Yeah, I was thinking
Sex
it's like,
is
oh,
confirmed in Star Wars.
Yeah, it's like, are they gonna bang?
It was very episode 1, like I said, it was very, very seedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
It's
gonna say
like,
though,
wow.
if we were gonna do a Star Wars brothel in like, the average Star Wars show, there probably would have been some kind of like cantina music going on, like with like cute like alien characters playing instruments.
But really slowed down.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we're gonna make it super sexy cantina song.
The porn version of the
Yeah.
cantina song.
God. Nope.
Just make it sound more 70s than it already was.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, what an exciting time. Great. I'm so glad that Disney let them
Do
go as
this.
dark as they're going.
Yeah.
And let
the
them
show.
spend the money that they did, apparently. 'Cause
Yes,
it
for
looked
sure.
expensive, and it looked like it was well spent.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we've got
I actually
On the-
am curious about that. Maybe we'll do some research as to like what their budget was in comparison to like some of their other shows.
oh, sure. Well, I mean, right away it's just going to be more because they didn't shoot on volume.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Just filming on
Just
location
that
is
alone
so
is gonna-
expensive.
Logistics and yeah.
Traveling all those people all
Well,
over the
great.
place.
Do you have any
Okay.
other thoughts other than we're excited for what's to come?
Yes, and
Great. Awesome. Well, we're hopefully not going to cram 5 episodes into one episode
We're busy people.
for the
Well,
remaining
you know,
time, but
at least some of us are.
yeah.
We're busy.
Oh,
Yeah, you are. So yes, well, hope you are enjoying Andor like we are. This is Inside the Tauntaun, a podcast in the multiverse of fandom. I'm Alyssa Simmons.
And I'm Daniel Dawson.
I'm Dino Nicandros.
May the force be with you.
Always.
See ya!
Inside the Tauntaun podcast. Please like and subscribe.